like to call the meeting to order. Thank you for joining us during our weekly hybrid MLS breakfast meetings. My name is Jacqueline Cheou for REMAX My Home, and I'm your March program chair. Is there anybody who would like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance in the morning? Great, thank you, Brendon.
Stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we'll have Robert Hernandez from REMAX My Home will be giving us our inspirational quote of the day.
Morning. So I'll be quoting Oscar Wilde, one of my favorite authors. Success is a sign. If you have conditions, you get results. Oscar Wilde.
Well said. Thank you, Robert. And again, I'm Jolene from REMAX My Home, and so I should thank everybody for their support. As I think most people know, I am the owner and broker of REMAX My Home, and we're a relatively new office, and the number of support and people reaching out have been wonderful. And so, and I wanted to again thank the board for the opportunity they've given me to, to get to know everybody better as being your March chair. And this will be my last day. Very sad, and I had so much fun, and so appreciative of everybody and everybody that I met. Thank you so very much. Now, please don't be strangers. And I'll stop by the office, and I'll be part of the board, and try to get more active, and I'll be seeing everybody. And next, if you are a member and would like to make an announcement, please fill out our announcement form located to my left. Return completed forms to Lynn. Party announcements. A few housekeeping tips. All participants who will be muted upon entry to the MLS breakfast meeting. And should you have a question or a comment, please remember to enter it into the chat box. Please remember to join us weekly as we will have our hybrid MLS breakfast meetings every Thursday at 9 a.m. As always, this meeting is being recorded and will be available online on our YouTube channel, Escrow Valley Realtor. Please remember to follow WSGBR social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also watch all the pre-recorded videos on YouTube. Join our text message group for updated texts. For updates, text WSGBR to the number 888-301-2201. Today's agenda consists of guest speakers Nancy Chen from Lawyers Title, Jacqueline Cheou from Champion Escrow, Alina Cheou from Glen Oaks Escrow, and Jon Wax from SnapNHD. Just a reminder that to be eligible for today's drawings, you must be a WSGBR member and be present in person at the association. We'll be having an intense drawing, Amazon gift card drawing, and 50/50 raffle. Today, our affiliate spotlight will be brought to you by the affiliate committee chair, Mr. Secretary of U.S. Bank and Vice President Teresa Nguyen of Low Direct. Please remember to support affiliates with their transactions. We'll now have our affiliate introductions for today. All affiliates present today, please line up at the front. Please no promotions this morning as it's a greetings only. We'll begin with affiliates in person.
We have a new affiliate member today, so I'm going to introduce him. John, the blind man. I'm Nancy Chen.
Blind man? He hasn't joined yet. Can you remind him that he needs to join? He needs to be a paid member.
My name is John. The one of a budget blind is Gabriel. So I'm not blind. So make sure you all my stuff so I can see. Thank you so much.
Oriana introduced him.
Good morning. I want to give David Grant a competition today. Probably Sanchez, your lending cowboy.
Good morning. This is Alina from Glen Oaks Escrow. Wonderful day. Good morning. Jacqueline Cheou from Champion Escrow.
Morning. Bob Cheou with Champion Escrow.
Morning, everyone. Chase Kerr with Morrison Properties. Good morning, everyone. Brendon with First American NHD.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you have a great caravan. Stay safe as you move through your day. Jon Wax with SnapNHD.
Good morning, everybody. We're just Alina.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody.
like insert the change, so it's part of the program.
Good morning, everyone. Great time with Gail Moses. Have a great day.
Morning, this is Ken of Transport Private Lending. Have a great morning.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tia Cam, representing Fairfax Chinese American Real Estate Professional Association.
Morning, Angie Kang, First American.
Good morning, my name is Judy Liu from Business Bank. I'm a local commercial homeowner officer. Thank you.
She's not paid either.
Want to get your support to support affiliate and
She's being
have
paid
our
member.
panel
She can't be
today.
introducing herself.
Thank you for coming down the ring.
Thank you, everybody. Next, we'll call our affiliates who will be joining us virtually. Oh, sorry, we're
Good morning. Good morning, David Chen with Home Star Home Warranty. I'm the man holding your fortune in my hand. Make you buy it. Thank you.
And virtually, we have Judy Cheou from AAA Capital Investments.
Good morning. Thank you for a great panel. Nothing is more certain in creating wealth than home ownership. Judy Cheou, 30 years in loan mortgage and speak Chinese and English. Thank you for the great panel.
Thank you. You need a roof, Home Warranty of America.
She's not here.
You need a backer today. Mark Roof from Laveau Insurance Services.
Good morning, everybody. Just want to wish you a happy Thursday morning caravan and to allow you to know that I do property insurance still. So thank you.
And Teresa Lamb of Corinthian Title Company.
Oh, sorry. Give me a second.
Teresa here.
Yes, she is. Give me one second. She needs to unmute.
Okay.
There she goes.
Hi, finally, sorry. This is Teresa Lamb with Corinthian Title Company, and have a wonderful Thursday. Thank you.
Sandy Franco from First American Home Warranty.
Good morning, everyone. Sandy Franco, First American Home Warranty. Have a great day.
Andrew Tan from First American Title Company. So we're happy to include open pitching to our hybrid analyst breakfast meeting. Remember, if you like to pitch your listing, you can go to www.justgr.com, click on open pitch to fill out the caravan request form and submit it no later than Tuesday midnight of the week you want to pitch. Today we have no listings that are featured, and now help me welcome our moderator for today. Brendon Savransky from First American and NHD will be introducing our speakers.
We've added also another moderator. Angie's going to also join me. So we're both from First American, and I do natural hazards. She does title, but today we're going to be moderating for you guys. We have some amazing panelists today. If you guys have not heard them before, they're very knowledgeable. And when it comes to what the title of our panel today, it's nothing is certain except death and taxes. And so taxes, we know this time of year, something that's a topic with a lot of your clients. So take some notes and listen to everyone. Thank you all for joining us today, and thank you for being on the panel. So I'm going to start with Nancy. If you can introduce yourself, then pass it down.
This one's working. Good. I don't need a mic. Growing up in a big family, we scream at each other, so they never needed a mic. Nancy Chan, lawyer's title, and this is the 41st year in the title industry. And a lot of people think that I was in real estate or in lending or in an escrow, but I've been doing this for so long, I kind of know parts of everything. That's what you get. And working with great people, you know, like people sitting here. We are very loyal affiliates of this West Gabriel Association. We've been coming here for years and years, and please bring other agents and bring other affiliates to join this thing. Enough about me. This association is my second home. I love my business, and I'm happy to be here with all of you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jacqueline Cheou, and I'm from Champion Escrow. I'm very happy to see all of you here today. Thank you for having this panel. And today our topic, nothing is certain except death and taxes. Well, I'm glad we don't have to talk about death this morning. We'll just be talking about taxes. But you guys should know that this session is not meant to provide legal or tax advice. So this year, I'm celebrating 30 years in my escrow career.
Wow.
And I feel very lucky that in escrow, I have learned a lot and made so many friends. We never stop learning, so I always enjoy it and always appreciate the opportunity to meet new people and make new friends. So if I haven't met you, please come up and say hello afterward. And finally, just a little bit about what I do. I work on transactions for residential properties, commercial properties.
Good morning. My name is Alina Cheou from Glen Hills, Escrow. I've been in the business since the early 1980s. So I've been around for a long time, as long as Nancy has. And we have seen a lot of changes in the market, all the ups and downs, and we've transitioned through so many of those changes more than a few times. So we have come across many types of transactions, and every year, whenever it changes, then you need to do different types of transactions. I am born from in Lima, Peru, so I do speak Spanish as well and Cantonese, and we're here to serve. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Jon Wax with SnapNHD. I'm probably a grandfather in this business. I've been in the business in the NHD field for over 28 and a half years. This is all I do. And I'm here to consult with you, your clients, to make you look good and also understand what's going on with the report and the information in it. For you, don't see me here in the board in person. I do have personal issues with my wife. I have to take care of her. She's been bedridden for over a year and 3/4. She has multiple medical conditions, and we just have to make sure that she does the best she can with the medical care that I can get her. And my son, just on a personal note, my son was in a steel bridge competition. He's a civil engineer student over at Cal State Northridge, and they came in second in the competition this last Saturday. And he's going to the finals in San Diego, and UC San Diego is the one they beat him out. So they're going to have home field advantage in June. So that's what's going on with us. And thank you for all your support. And I'm here to help you and be part of your team and make sure that you get the right questions answered. Thank you.
Hey, we're going to start with Nancy Chan from Lawyers Title. Are taxes such as property taxes covered or not covered by title insurance?
What was the question? It's not listening.
Are taxes such as property taxes covered or not covered by title insurance?
Yes, we do cover property tax. As you notice, if you look at the prelim, tax is always number one. You get the preliminary report. We do cover property taxes up to the time you close escrow. A couple of things that you have to know that supplemental tax is an exception. We don't cover that. We don't know what the future is like. And most people don't understand. Title doesn't cover the future. We search the history. We ensure the past. So if you do have any questions on property taxes, your escrow officer, your title officer, anybody you call, and also John knows property tax too. So any one of us could answer that. So property tax is covered and it'll be paid by the title company at the close of escrow.
Okay, next one goes to Jacqueline from Champion Escrow. What is documentary transfer?
Documentary transfer tax is a tax you pay when you transfer real property. Now, unless the sales price in your transaction is less than $100, this tax has to be paid. There may be two levels of this tax, okay? There is the county level for sure, and there may be the city level in some cities. Typically, this tax is paid by the seller. However, the seller or the buyer can pay for this, or they can both split it. The county and the city don't care who pays for it, as long as they get to collect it. Now, on your purchase agreement, your RPA, this tax is mentioned under item 3Q10 and 3Q11. And there are boxes for you to check off. For seller to pay, for buyer to pay, or both to pay it. So make sure when you write up the offer, you check off the box that your client would like. Now let's talk about the county tax, the county transfer tax first. All counties in California have the same tax rate. It is $1.10 per thousand of the sales price, with the sales price rounded up to the nearest $500. So for example, if you have a sales price of $999,900, you will have to round it up to the nearest $500. So the tax will be based on $1 million instead of the actual purchase price. So if you ever have to find out how much a property owner had paid for the property, and you know that the tax is the same across the board, all you have to do is look at the transfer tax amount that was paid on the purchase grant. Do your math backwards, and you'll be able to figure out the purchase price.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Next, Alina Cheou. Alina Cheou with Glen Oaks Escrow. How does the Form 593 affect your seller?
All seen this form. This form is included in your escrow opening package. The purpose is to determine if withholding is required at the close of escrow to the franchise tax. Now, this form must be submitted even though there's no withholding due. So before, we didn't have to submit it, but they have changed it, and this is another revolving form. So every year, there's always tweaks that they do change in this form. The withholding amount is 3.33% of the sales price. Now, withholding is not required if the sales price is $100,000 or less. If the property is being foreclosed upon, there's also no withholding. Or if the transferor is the bank acting as trustee, there's no withholding. There's also no withholding if the seller can certify for an exemption. Now, this form, a lot of people get very frustrated when they're figuring out if it's there, but it's a very daunting form. But if the seller lives there as the principal resident, then all they have to mark on the form there, and they will be exempt. Okay, and what they mean by principal resident, it is at least two of the last 5 years. So if the deceased, if you're selling under the trust or the estate, and the deceased, the parent lived there as the principal resident, they can also mark an exemption on the box there. Now they do have other exemptions as well. If you're selling under an LLC, a corporation, partnership, an insurance company, a retirement account, pension account, profit sharing, or a charitable remainder trust. So all these are boxes that if your seller falls into, they can mark, and then you will be exempt from withholding this 3.33%. Now, for rental properties, withholding may be required unless they decide to do a 1031 exchange. So if the seller is doing 1031 exchange, you are also exempt from withholding. Now, if the seller should choose to take out some money from the exchange, which is called boot, then that portion that they pick up as boot will be taxable. So you can tax on that portion. Now, the seller also has an option, because some sellers say, well, I don't want to pay 3.33 on the full sales price. There is an option to calculate alternative withholding. So let's say they have a minimum gain. Let's say they only calculate everything and they only make 50,000. Then you can choose to withhold on the amount that is gained, but is taxed at a different rate. It will be taxed at 12.3%. So then you have to weigh in what's better, a 3.33 and the full sales price, or do you want to do 12.3 on the gain? Now, bear in mind that the buyer is the responsible party to withhold this amount. Okay, the buyer is the legal agent. And if the form is not filled out accurately, buyers are going to be the one that will be suffering the consequence, as the penalty will be sent over to the buyer. They will be receiving this payment. So be sure that all these forms are filled out correctly, returning to us as well. And the sellers always can, of course, review this form with their CPA if you have any questions for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Alina. And now Jon Wax, SnapNHD. Your question is, what tax information should be in an NHD report?
The taxes that are required to be in an NHD report. First, the NHD report became mandatory in 1996. In 1998, they added the tax component. So the first thing that was added was Melrose assessment and 1915 assessment. And we were all around in 1915, right? The year 1915. But basically, those two have been added. The way you have to present it is, what is the purpose? Who's the party who's requesting the payment? Additional information usually, and from when and to when. They usually tell you a beginning and ending date. And then for Melrose, they also have an escalator, which means it could go up 2%. Usually it's about 0.5% or third percent, 0.75% per year. That could go up. The other things that are in there are, they've added PACE Hero loans. Even though it's a loan, it's paid back through the tax bill. So that if the PACE Hero loan is recorded, the information will be in an NHD report as well. And I wanted to let you know that Melrose is also known as Community Facilities District. It is in the title report, but we spell it out for you, what the name is. And for 1950 bonds, it's usually Parks and Recreations is another name for it. You're going to see a lot of it up in Santa Clarita or newer home divisions. They'll have that in there. Another thing that's in there is the private transfer fees. Those are on newer subdivisions. And I'm going to get into that a little bit later, but that you'll find that in there. And a lot of the companies are putting in supplemental tax estimators in the reports. It's something that the buyer and their agent, the buyer should fill it out. And that's the prorated tax from the time escrow closes and until they receive the property. There's a prorated amount of tax that they have to be responsible for. The easiest way to do it is just go to the SnapNHD estimator, and second, you'll know supplemental taxes. A lot of the companies have done that. And that way you're going to know it. You don't have to put pen to paper, but anywhere in California, you can find out supplemental taxes information. Thank you.
Thanks, John. All right, we're going to go back to Nancy. What other taxes does the title have to clear?
All of you know that on any transaction, the seller and the buyer has to fill out statement of information.
Can't hear. Put it closer now.
It's the microphone, they don't like me. Well, so the statement information is something that the title company requires. Escrow will send it to you in the escrow package. Both the seller and the buyer have to fill it out. One of the reasons is we do have to clear personal tax. For example, IRS, EDD, state tax, title company is not just responsible for the property tax, we are also responsible for personal liens and judgment. So if the person, Nancy Chan is a very common name. So the seller is Nancy Chan, you might find that I have IRS or DDP or whatever taxes. And also if I own a business before, those taxes will jump on your property. You close your business and you never pay them. Okay, so it's really important that we just don't look at the property tax itself. We still look at other taxes that is part of the transaction and we'll have to clear it. One of my seller, she owned a beauty salon and nail shop and sold cosmetics. And when the time they come to sell their $2 million home in Arcadia, she had like 7 years of liens, EDD tax liens that she never cleared. So can you imagine what the husband was thinking about? So we did have to spend a lot of time on it. So the names and the business of the seller that never owns can be a problem during close of escrow if we don't get the statement information in time. Escrow sent it to you and we send reminder emails to escrow now so that you get your buyers and sellers get it in as soon as possible. Tom, remember your office, Steve Tom? Tom used to fax it to me when he has a listing. He has a seller filled out. One and only agent did that. He used to fax it to me so I can run it before the escrow will be open. So this is important because I know the agent or the escrow will tell you all the horror stories. And one thing I want to supplement a little bit about document transfer tax. Steve, do you remember that we don't have to put it on the grantee? We can fill out a separate form to pay the document transfer tax. That was years ago, but about 15 years ago, the county said no, because they want that on the deed so people have transparency on what they're paying for. I still get agent ask for, oh, somebody told me that you don't have to pay to put the document transfer tax on the grantee because they don't want people to know how much they sold the property. Now with Zillow and everything, you already know it, so it's not a problem anymore. But document transfer tax is something you must have on your grantee. Thank you.
Thanks. And Jacqueline, what about?
So in addition to the county transfer tax, some cities also have city transfer. There are 5 cities in the county of Los Angeles has transfer tax. It is Los Angeles, Culver City, Pomona, Redondo Beach, and Santa Monica. The cities collect the transfer tax to pay for essential services the cities provide, like maintenance of parks, facilities, streets, schools, senior services, addressing homelessness, and affordable housing. I have shared with you this morning a copy of the bulletin from the county of Los Angeles Reporter on transfer. If you don't have them, can you? Sorry about that. So Bob was passing out a copy of the bulletin from the county recorder's office. So if you don't have one, raise your hand and Bob will be happy to give you one. Okay. So if you look at the chart, Culver City, effective during the pandemic, April 1st, 2021, had already raised their taxes and it's now in 4 tiers. Okay. But the big news is, now, how many of you sell properties in the city of Los Angeles? Well, you should know this. Effective April 1st, 2023, the city of Los Angeles measure ULA, also known as the mansion tax, will kick in. That means any closing starting April 1st for sales price above $5 million and above will be hit with a lot more taxes. Now, all this time, the tax rate for the city of Los Angeles is only $4.50 per thousand. Okay. However, effective April 1st. Now, the, if your sales price is $5 million and above, to just below $10 million, it is going to be 4.45% now. Yeah, percent. Okay. And from $10 million and above, it is going to be 5.95%. So let me put it in perspective for you. This means if the sales price is $5 million, the tax will be $222,500 versus before the measure kicks in, it is only $22,500. That equals a $200,000 jump in transfer tax. For $10 million and above, the new transfer tax will be $595,000 versus only $45,000 now. That is $550,000 more in tax. So if you have a property to sell that is $5 million and above, you have today and tomorrow to close it.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Jacqueline. All right, so Alina, what does the FERPTA form determine?
Okay, well, the mansion tax is a very scary proposition. So now it continues on.
Scary for who?
For the seller. They have to pay. Well, it continues on to the FERPTA. The 593 form that I spoke earlier is for the withholding to the franchise tax board. The FERPTA is to determine if the seller is a foreign person or entity to pay taxes to the IRS. Okay, so this is not a new form. This form has been around since 1980. So you're all familiar. It's part of your escrow package, your real estate package for the seller to certify whether it's a foreign person or not. So if your seller is a foreign person and the purchase price is $300,000 and below, and the buyer intends to live there as a principal resident, then you can still consider it to be exempt. But of course, 300,000 is not what we get to see lately. Otherwise, if the property is from 300 to $1 million during that range, then the withholding is 10%. And if your property is over $1 million, then the percentage goes to 15%. Okay. Some sellers, you know, they have a social security number, but it has been inactive. If they have not used it for more than 5 years, then that social security number is considered deactivated. So you cannot use that. And if there's a question about it, they do have an 800 number at the IRS that you can call to verify the social security number to see if it's an active number or not for the seller to use. Okay. Bear in mind again, buyer is the withholding agent in here. So if anything is filled out incorrectly and turned into IRS, the buyers will be the one receiving a letter asking for payment to the IRS. So we have to verify to make sure the social security number matches your seller's name and is correct before the form is turned in. So that is very crucial, because otherwise the buyer again is the one suffering the consequence. Thank you.
Thank you, Alina. And John, why is it important to know if there is a Belarus assessment and or a 1915 bond assessment on a subject property?
All right, that's better. 1915 bond and the Belarus bonds have senior lien authority. What does that mean? It means even if it's a small amount, like the 1950 bond is $25, and they don't know to pay it, they can institute foreclosure proceedings within 90 days of the date when it was due. And you have to get an attorney. So it's really good to order the report up front, get that information up front so that you know whether or not you have to deal with a 1915 or a Melrose bond assessment and either get it paid through escrow or pay for it separately, but know that you have to make that payment. The other thing I wanted to add, I should have put in there, was the pay zero loans. They're paid back through the taxes, but they also have senior lien authority over your original mortgages. And that's a little scary because a lot of banks don't want to loan and don't want to be subsequent to a pay zero loan, which is paid back through the taxes. So they want it paid off at the time of escrow or before they issue another loan, or lenders won't issue another loan on the property.
Thank you, John. Nancy, what is unsecured tax?
Next time we only use this microphone. Unsecured property tax, there'll be several types of property taxes. We talk about when you're going through escrow, then your property tax is secure. When it becomes unsecured is that if the seller, okay, there is a portion of the taxes the seller didn't pay that doesn't belong to the buyer. For example, the timing of the transaction, the buyer, because the tax follows the property. So it doesn't matter if the seller is gone, the property is still there. So the buyer has an option to go to the county tax assessors, can have it moved from the secure tax roll, which is onto the property, onto the seller's personal property tax. So it's called unsecured. Another type of unsecured taxes are the ones that, let's say you own the business, you don't own the property, the owner of the property gets a secure tax roll. But when you rent a space, you will also have to pay an unsecured tax. Because I rented a small office years ago, and I got a bill for like $60 a year. So there's two types of property tax. One is secure using the property. One is using your person. So there's two tax rolls with the county tax assessors. Another thing is that if you don't pay your secure tax roll one fiscal year, which is it overlaps. That's why the buyer gets your customer gets very confused, because the tax year is a fiscal year. It goes from July 1st, like this year. You're going to get the tax bill in November. It goes from July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024. First installment is December 10th that we have to pay, and that's from July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2023. The second installment will be from January 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2024. So we have to know the fiscal year. So if somebody didn't pay two installments in that fiscal year, 5 years, it'll go to tax sale. So there's tax sale, like John was saying, the county can take that property and sell that. A lot of people call me on tax sale information. One word I'm telling you guys is that tax sales, if they the people that get an auction off, the previous owner can have 1 year to redempt it. So it's not a really good investment. I get people call me, can you insure tax sale? Can you do this? So, but all the taxes on the property is a secure property tax roll. The property that the tax on the personal is unsecured tax roll. So it gets complicated, but call us to ask questions. And our LA rep, and very funny, your LA rep is probably making a ton of money right now because everybody in LA is closing escrow tomorrow. Okay, they don't want to close after April 1st or April 1st. So our rep leaders got a lot of business going on in the last 6 months. They're selling like crazy. So thank you very much.
Jacqueline, what other popular cities might have transfers?
So just for your information and curiosity, some other popular cities in California which have city transfer tax are City of Riverside is at $1.10 per thousand, which is also the same rate as the county level. Sacramento is it's $2.75 per thousand. Oakland's rate is in tiers. It's anywhere between 1% to 2.5%, depending on the sales price. But they do have a break for first-time buyers for sales price under $2 million. San Francisco is also in tiers, $5 per thousand of the sales price of $250,000 and under. $6.80 per thousand above $250,000, but under 1 million. And $7.50 per thousand for prices between 1 million to less than $5 million. And then it goes up for another 2 tiers from there. San Mateo is $5 per thousand. Palo Alto in San Jose is $3.30 per thousand. But for San Jose, above $2 million is another tier. So that's just for your information.
Thank you. Alina Cheou, Escrow, what is the purpose of a 1099 form?
Again, you have all seen this form because in the seller's opening package, there is a form for the sellers to fill out their tax ID number, the 1099. This is a requirement for us to report that each seller sold the property for the full price. And we need to submit it to IRS for you to file your taxes. So that's the purpose for that. Now, the seller must complete with information also to match what they have reported on the 593 to reconcile their returns. Now, single member LLC, they would probably have to speak with their tax advisor before completing that form to see how they should complete it. But I wanted to also let you know that when you have multiple sellers, sometimes the children and the parents own property together, but only one person is filing 100% on the tax return. So they should check how they file taxes, because if one party is claiming 100%, then they should also fill that out to match the tax return, how they've been claiming taxes. So although there's 2 parties owning on the property, but you are okay to put 100% onto one if that's how they've been filing their taxes. So you do have that too. Okay, now if we do as an escrow holder have time period to submit this form to the IRS, so that's why we have to collect this information at closing, because if we don't turn those form in due time, I think we only have 21 days to turn that in. We do get penalized for that. And if the name doesn't match, it's turning late, then the penalty also applies. Thank you.
Thank you, Alina. And Jon Wax, what is the difference between private transfer tax and private transfer fee?
Okay, we've heard a lot about the transfer tax. I just put private in there. It really is just the transfer tax. And both the city and the states, those are the government bodies that assess the fees when you purchase a property, and it goes and it's paid by the parties in that. Private transfer fees are for newer subdivisions, and they can use it for anything. It's between a contract, in the contract between a private person and the person who's buying the property. It's assessed to them. They're the ones who pay it. And most of the times when they're the first person in, they're the ones that will throw a big block party. They can use it for wherever they want, but it's usually for infrastructure and keeping up, putting libraries in, parks, keeping the roads, lighting, sewers, all that kind of stuff done and in good maintenance. That's what it's supposed to be for. And if it's not the developer who's receiving it, it's either it may be a homeowners association that are collecting the fees and holding on to them for those purposes. And then since I'm the only one with the 4th question, I'll answer it myself. Pays Hero, which we've already talked about. I told you, you can find it if it's recorded in the tax section of the NHD report, you should be able to. And it's very important that you pay attention to it if it's there, because like I said, they can institute foreclosure proceedings. And banks don't like those because they don't want to be subsequent in line. If there's ever a default on the property, they get paid first and not the original mortgagers. Okay, and I thank you. I'm a consultant. We've got a lot of experts here. We're here to help you. We appreciate all your support. And we just love being part of these panels, and we're so blessed to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, speakers.
Fortunately, we don't have any time for questions, but I just wanted to thank the panel again. You guys did an amazing job. And again, use them as a resource. They're here for you. So thank you guys.
Thank you so much, everyone, for that informative panel. And next, we'll do our attendance drawings. All WSGVR members are included in attendance drawings. Not all can be displayed, but all are included. Today, our pot is at $75. If we don't get a winner, 25 gets added to the pot each week until we have a winner. If we get a winner, pot will be get again at $5. If for our last breakfast meeting of the year, we still don't have a winner, we will draw names until we get a winner. Winner must be present in person at the association to win. And here we go.
Give me 1 second.
Jonathan Wax. Jonathan. Not here. Going once, going twice. And going third. Okay, next we'll have our Amazon gift card drawing. We said 3 winners from attending people today. Okay, we have Cecilia. Karen Chen. From congratulations, Karen. And Senso.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the luckiest guy, I'm telling you.
Yes, your answer.
You're welcome. See you next stage.
Next, let's see, please make sure to participate in our education classes.
Here.
We have a commercial seminar based on the real estate investment apartments, which is coming up April 11th from 12 to 1, the virtual training creating a CMA. It's going to be up April 12th from 9 to 10, and 45 hours of DRE license renewal on April 14th from 9:30 to 12:30, and the Homes Plus training happening Monday, April 17th from 9:30 to 12:30. And next we have our 50/50 raffle.
42.
And today is for $42.
2.
The lucky winner is 1910742. 1910742.
Oh my God, again.
Congratulations, Nancy.
So.
Nancy, I think Nancy's in the restroom.
Oh, Nancy.
Oh, Nancy.
Oh.
So before we end our meeting, I believe we do have an open pick from Robert Fernandez of Remax Michael. Hey, Robert.
Or you guys can hear me. I don't even mind.
No, he needs to go to the mic.
Oh, you can hear me? Okay, good. This is a single family residence. The address is 417 San Pascual Drive. It has just been reduced $400,000 from 1.2 to 850. It is a single family residence with a pool and a jacuzzi, built-in barbecue. It has a converted garage, which is actually a very well done job with a raised foundation. You gotta come see it. I'll be there this weekend between
12 and 5 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. Send your buyers, just make sure you have your buyers sign that buyer agreement. Okay, guarantee it. Thank you so much.
And there is that listing right there.
Oh,
Sounds
sorry.
like a great deal.
The price is at 850.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's still negotiable.
All right, one more announcement, guys. We have.
We have
Testing? Yeah. Okay, so we have our fund.
Stand on camera. For the Zoom people.
Oh, no, it's not.
Okay, I'm gonna yell. They want me to yell, guys. So we have a fun event tonight. It's an 80s theme party. We want to thank James Chen for being our beer sponsor. You don't want to miss it, guys. Registration closes at 12 p.m. So $15 if you register online. Say you can't do it online, fine. $20 at the door. It's gonna be a good time. All the cool people are gonna be there. Joseph's gonna be there. Sean's gonna be there. Pauline's gonna be there, of course, James and Alina, everybody. So please make it out. Great time to just, relax, have some fun. See you guys tonight.
Awesome.
Registration closes at noon. Hold on.
Okay, and again, congratulations, Nancy. So thank you, everyone. Please join us again on April 6th for our next MLS meeting. Our guest speaker will be Attorney Kelly Richardson. And thank you again for joining me today, and have a great day. The meeting is adjourned.